see now that the man is already having fame. He just won Man of the Year awards because some politicians who were nominated alongside with him, and he had to defeat them. So right now,
that's their style. What I want to ask is, please, I beg, is there any northern billionaire that we know of that has ever come under the spotlight under investigation? Because even the ones that
Chika, let me come in here. 1 second, guys. Chika, let me come in here. You see, I think again, it's another symptom of the problem of Nigeria. They do not like to see self-made, successful people. As far as they're concerned, you must have made your money through fraud or through corruption, or maybe someone gave you money to keep, or all this kind of nonsense. You can see very clearly the guy, if you go and do the research on this guy, it's almost like you can see how he came from rags to riches in a sense. And he worked very hard to get to that point. Obviously, with a great network of people around him, that help build each other. So, I mean, he's a product of the Igbo apprenticeship system, so which is something you should actually be celebrating. But now you want to tear him down. But the problem with trying to tear him down is they then expose themselves to the claim of tribalism. Because had he been a guy from the northern region of Nigeria, would he have been arrested? I mean, that's the real question that you should ask. Because the EFCC has the other day they went and invaded, what's her name? Justice, Odili's house. And now they're all saying, the EFCC say, we didn't know anything about it. So I think there's something going. Remember, she's from what's it called? She's from Rivers, Abi. She's from Rivers. She's from Delta. Okay. She's from is she not former governor of Rivers State? So, and then you've got this guy from the southeast of Nigeria. And remember, Buhari was talking about people from the southeast being a dot in the whatever that stupid statement he made. So I think there's a concerted effort by certain people who are uncomfortable with people like him and her. And I think that's probably what is happening right now. I doubt, honestly, I could even bet that I doubt they'll find anything on him. Honestly, I doubt they will find anything. But I think there's something ethnic about this. Because you can see the people the EFCC is arresting is, like you see the way they go to clubs and people's houses in the south of Nigeria. They don't do the same in other parts of the country. You don't apply the law in equal measure. You've got bandits, people making money from banditry. You're not even tracing their bank accounts and arresting those people. But somehow you found Obi Cubana to arrest. I mean, come on. This stinks to high heaven. I mean, this is nonsense. I mean,
so guys, let's quickly, hold on.
Sorry,
the language they used, again, in the media was very inappropriate. He was not arrested. He was invited. So everyone, let's just again understand that the media equally sensationalizes. But then again, he is not on the run. He did not flee or refuse to answer to an invitation. So I think for anyone that's listening or would contribute, anyone could be subject to an invitation. Yes, there could be underlying reasons. It could be somewhat, what's the word Iman used there? It could be targeted. But then again, I think, to the government, who I don't even give a lot of due, let's just assume that they are doing their due diligence. And through the course of this, there's no extortion, witch hunting, as we may have painted. And, I think, again, I will tell you this. Whenever there's bad news in Nigeria, they go after these types of social events to change the narrative and create a distraction. If you're seeing all the videos from the Southeast today with soldiers killing innocent people in villages, for me, it's just another way of turning our eyes away from issues that truly matter. But yes, we can discuss these things, but then let's equally know that there are other pressing matters we cannot just leave, to chance. So let's take, I think
the next person was Prof.
Prof, yes.
So I said I was going to go after Tino now.
Yeah, we said yes.
Who's that?
Can I ask a question, please? Can you guys
just wanted to ask a question.
So we probably will be a question.
Okay, Zubi, sorry.
So my question is, we have FRC. What's the name of this tax body in Nigeria? I'm sorry.
FIRS.
FRS, and we have EFCC. What does EFCC have to do with enforcing tax?
So the money laundering thing there is where EFCC can come in because they are for their Financial Crime Commission. Even the Nigerian system, even EFCC, they do the work of DSS, they do the work of police. In fact, they do the work of SARS. So
you have too many parastatals, and it's
they are very, very funny. Yeah.
So that's why let me mention this. So there could be triggers, right? So Obi does, he has hotel businesses, he has nightclubs. You can think of the volume of transactions that come through these businesses. Let me give you an example. If you take Hustle in Abuja, on a good night, on a very good night, if Hustle does 40 million, it's normal. So if you have 3, 4, 5, 40 million nights, customers are paying you 4 million, 5 million for ticket items. EFCC can kick up the bucket and say, oh, we see money moving that, looks suspicious. So the first thing they target is money laundering. And then FIRS can come out and say, oh, well, we don't see paperwork to suggest that you're paying tax remittances, VAT, or other, filings to support the volume transaction. So it's sometimes normal that it will kick off these triggers for audits. But as I said, it's just an investigation. There's no known crime that has been committed. Even if he has any tax defaults, it's a question of these are your penalties. This is what you owe the government. You negotiate a settlement and you walk away, you go home. Understand, the Nigerian government is dead broke. Excuse my French, fucking broke. So again, for them, from painting buildings in Lekki 1 to sealing up properties, asking for taxation in every form possible, the government is looking for money. So understand that. So yes, there could be the witch hunting factor, but also understand that they are trying to collect revenue in any way possible. So throwing EFCC, throwing FIRS, even bringing LASMA are things they will do just to
I'm very happy, Aki, that you are saying this because there was somebody earlier, and I was trying to tell them that even if they can just wake up and say you didn't pay tariff on the cork of the bottles that you imported in your club, they can use for something. If you have a business in Nigeria, see, you don't have to be making 1 billion. You don't have to, 1 billion is too far. Just the way you can place a building in Lekki like this that they will not come and visit you and tell you all rubbish. That's not the truth.
So, Aki, let me just that one last point before I forget. One point before I forget. So, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Aki. Did he not just travel with, I think, Ned to Liberia, right?
Yeah, correct.
And they visited the vice president because you have to think of what are the things that maybe is the government looking at this and thinking these guys are getting too big for their shoes, because I think there's a greater dimension in this. There's a complexity to this which I think we're probably missing. We should look at what he's been involved in the last few weeks. So yeah, are you?
Yeah, so look, I mean, it's okay to be cynic, right? There's cynicism that could, be at play. It's equally okay to be suspicious. Look, I would say this on a microphone. If you turn Obi Cubana upside down, you might find 20 naira in tax default, or 40 naira, or 2,000 naira. And if the government is going to use that as an embarrassing opportunity or a way of perhaps grabbing the headlines in the news cycle, it's for them to pick and choose. But then I think the people can see through all the bullshit. Excuse my French again. So I would only say this. I think he's got a very smart team around him. They do paperwork. They don't play around with it. I know he will come out, on top. But then it's just awful that you have a lot of news headlines that the government is helping to perpetuate or promote that says, oh, he was invited or arrested for tax, fraud. It's crazy because now if I'm a foreign investor, as you all know, he just went into a partnership with a number of with a Bitcoin, well, let me call it.
Yeah, Bitcoin. That was what I was trying to say the other
cryptocurrency trader, and you know their position on crypto. Is it that he could shine more light? Look at the launch of eNaira. Look at how that failed. I mean, I'm just saying there could be a combination of things, but ultimately, it's just a country in which we operate with a lot of impunity. You could see the attempted reinstatement of Abakari, where they said, oh, he's been reinstated, and oh, they saw the public backlash, and then they backpedaled. You saw the crazy attempted arrest of a Supreme Court justice, where police officers showed up at her residence, and then the Attorney General is saying, on a request, a judge is saying, oh, they tricked me into signing up an arrest warrant. Police officers are saying, oh, we did not go there. So who are those? Unknown gunmen, unknown men? It's just crazy. So it's endless, but I don't want to grab the mic here. So Prof, go ahead. Mic is yours.
Prof, you apologize, so.
I'll be almost one fight, but yes, and then get fights. You guys have spoken, a lot of great things in the last 10 minutes, because at some point the whole room was being saturated by a lot of propagandas and all that. But the few things I wanted to correct was a couple of speakers at some point had said something at the line of you see the Richie Bowman, the likes of Innocent and so on and so forth, right? Why they not being invited? And the person specifically mentioned Innocent, right? I picked up that name and probably one other name. So I'm just gonna do a quick fact check for the person. In 2017, Innocent was actually arrested by the Efcc.
God bless you.
He spent
thank you for facts.
He spent the night at the Enugu cell, then they moved him to Lagos. About a couple of months later, right? They actually later filed some stupid suit against him. Had 4 counts. One included stealing, forgery, conspiracy to do whatever bullshit. The case got struck out by a Justice Olusola at the Federal High Court in Ikeja. Then eventually, Innocent countersued them for damages, running up to 200 billion. I think the case might still be ongoing. It's still ongoing, but he sued them for 200 billion. And I'm hoping that eventually he will win, and then we'll see whether they'll borrow from China to pay that. But the point I'm making with all this, is that that whole idea, right, that these things don't have precedence is not factual, because there are a lot of precedents out there. So when you say like, oh, is it the only, if you mention probably 5 of those Igbo men you had in mind, I could go back in time and 4 of them at least probably have been arrested at some point or invited by EFCC, and eventually they win in courts, and you realize that they didn't have any case. Actually, that's just a bunch of bullshit, right? And I remember then that Innocent got arrested. He was sensationalized. He was in the news. They found that at some point the Senate had like a section on that, right? When they had to push back on that, because the guy was just being bullied, and the case that EFCC got involved in had nothing to even do with EFCC at any point. And I think he was like, they picked up on some issue he had with GTB Bank at that time, and then he tried to use that to eventually bully the guy and other stuff. The point is that you can't rule out the fact that, there might be some tribal undertone to it. I'm not saying that necessarily has to be, but I heard some people were like, oh, don't make this about this. The truth is that in Nigeria, a lot of times it's always about that, because we always see that precedence, right? We always see like that similar handwriting on the wall. It's always like when you see that one Igbo guy doing well, and then boom, there's some trumped charges or some public embarrassment or some government new laws and every other thing trying to kick him out of business. It happened to Ibeto, it happened to Innocent, Obi Cubana could actually be a different case altogether. But the point is that there's always still a tiny chance that could be the case. And it could be some of other things that people mentioned, right? But when you come around and say, oh, rule out this, it can't be this, it's just this and that, and then it starts being funny. And then the last part too was what some of you already pointed out. It's actually very ironical that, we had a whole scandal involving the likes of Yabakari, that we actually had, the evidence was actually super alarming. It was all up in our front. We're hearing stupid excuses like Taylor and being paid huge sums for making the clothes and selling to hush puppy and some bullshit, right? Yeah, but no single day did we even hear that, Abakari was invited by EFCC for questioning and stuff like that. Just questioning. I'm not even talking of having charges and all that stuff, And we can go on and name so many other people, on and on and on and on and on, and these things haven't happened. But all of a sudden, we have this. At the end of the day, my summary of all these things that I'll be waiting for the next couple of days to hear, updates on that. I'm placing a wager that there's a possibility that probably a day or two from now, I might hear that, they'll come out and issue some press statement. We just invited him for questioning, nothing serious, blah, 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 bullshit. Or you might hear some, court case being, sued and all that kind of stuff, and eventually it might still go the way of innocent or any other way. But I'll just ask people not to start jumping into conclusions like we love to do as Nigerians. Once you see sensational headlines like arrested for tax evasion and money laundering, and then because you've been having this bias against this person because you hated the fact that they're throwing money, you're like, yes, I said it. Nobody that has money that made money from the people will trade it like that, because that's what I've been seeing online. Right?
That's what they are saying now.
Yeah. So if you're among those people, just make sure that it's not either your poverty or your jealousy speaking through you, right? If the UFC does have a good case against him, I hope that they follow the right rule of law, and if he's guilty of anything, they'll find that, right? And we'll all be following up for that. But until that happens, don't use that as an avenue to, go on some smear of somebody because you already had some biases and opinion about them, or their tribe or wherever they're from. Thank you for the time, Cike.
All right, thanks, Prof. Can I go ahead?
Oh, come on, I can't now. I'm so supposed to go.
Hold on, Mister. Just so that you pull the screen down, you see where you are. Just connect your mic here at ABC, and then you're next. Okay, you're very close to the mic. Just stay with us. Connect.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So looking at this conversation, I've been listening to everyone so far, and I just want to make two comments. Anyone that feels this does not have anything to do with tribalism is making a serious mistake. In the history of Nigeria, there is hardly any successful business Igbo man that has not been witch hunted. That is a fact you can take to the bank. There's hardly any successful business Igbo man that has not been witch hunted. And then again, with respect to Obi Cubana, just as some of the previous people that have spoken said, I cannot attest to the fact whether there is anything there or not, whether they're going to find something or not. But we have to tell ourselves the truth that this is just a simple case of we've seen this man and it seems like he's becoming something too big for us to handle, or he's becoming influential, and let's just shake and see what will happen. And the Nigerian government is, in fact, I don't know if there's any G-boy that is bigger than the Nigerian government, because at the end of the day, it ends up with the money. It ends up with what they are able to get out, what they're able to drag out of you. So involving the EFCC in this matter and saying money laundering when you have not even, there is no investigation that has been carried out, you've not gotten evidence. It says a lot, because it smears his image, just as the last the last person that talked, or the second to the last. He has business connections outside Nigeria, and then they see this online that this person has been accused of money laundering without any real evidence to hold him to it. So I will still say it. This is a typical case of witch hunting. Period. Thank you. I'm done speaking. The next person.
All right, thanks for that. So let's take Michael next. Michael, go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, guys. It's very interesting listening to people that have spoken, and most of the things I wanted to even share, I've heard other people say it. And one thing I've realized is if you are in the diaspora and you're not in Nigeria, most of the information you get on the blogs will actually not give you the proper information of what is going on in Nigeria. I've had the experience of being in diaspora and being in Nigeria to know that what is going on in this country, there is no way anyone can boldly say witch hunting is not taking place. There's no way you can defend what is going on in the country in any way you want to look at it. If you're talking about employment, if you're talking about the economy, even as hard as it is in this country, there are people that are spending Nigeria's money like, nothing is even happening. So I don't see how anybody can defend a country on any platform, on any level, the situation that is going on in this country. Obi Cubana has become one of the most popular individual in this country just because he buried his mother in a grand style. He became so popular, he has won awards, and this is Nigeria. We know what that means. Even before this happened, a lot of us were expecting this to happen. Not because we wish Obi Cubana bad, but because we know this is the system. It is the system. You cannot shy away from it and say, oh, Obi Cubana has been doing fraud. No. He is now a popular person that some people are even making comments that, oh, if he comes out to run for governor because our president is even the slot is for the East. So if they stand behind Obi Cubana, he's going to be accepted by the populace. So he's a person of interest, whether he has the desire to run for president or he doesn't have the desire, because he's popular and popular among the youths. He will be a person of interest in the scheme of things. So I just think we should be objective. I don't know if he's guilty of anything, but I don't see how this invitation, because it's not an arrest, like they say, this invitation is just to shake him up. Like, guy, if you have any plans, you better calm down. We'll let you go, but you know how it is. I mean, that is what goes on. If you don't know, then make your research. Don't just come and start defending what we already know is going on. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. So let's take Mr. President. Thanks for being patient.
All right, so I mean, as you said, about 3 things. Number one, I mean, we thank God we have all agreed that this is not far from witch hunting. Apparently, if you go on Instagram and other social media platforms rather, you will find, I'm going to be very direct here, no disrespect to any tribe or people, but I'm just going to say it the way it is. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry for my English, you can go kiss the toilet. There's a whole lot of northern young chaps who I see on my timeline who are floating me like the kind of money that Obi Cubana has never influenced before. They don't even have that money.
You will live long, my brother.
Amen. You see, you go on social media, you see 19-year-olds, 15-year-olds holding gold-plated AK-47 with wad of dollars, private jets, and their parents are actually notable politicians. Are you kidding me? What are we doing? What are we deceiving? Do you understand? So we have a bunch of spoiled northerners, spoiled brats who are, showing off money, showing off all sorts, including their ladies, and they are putting out some very dangerous message out there that you don't even hear DSS is supposed to arrest them. But you will not hear that. You will not hear that. On the street of Abuja, every night, rich kids are there blowing bikes of hundreds of millions of dollars, riding bike. One of your president's son almost died. So they are still driving fast cars in the night in Abuja. Nobody has arrested anybody. This is the same thing they did to e-money. This is the same thing. That's how government carried their innocence case on their head. At the end of the day, they realized that it was GT Bank that was even cheating the guy. The case is still in court now. They were trying to do media trial, but they now realize that the thing did not pay them. Now they are trying to make the thing die in natural death. Some days back, battalion of armed men went to a woman's house at night, in the dead of the night, to do what? Not just a woman.
Supreme Court Justice.
Justice. They went to the police house, and what did they go there to do? Do you understand? And I don't understand why we are calling, and then Nigerians will always like to tell, like, say, nothing so. You understand? You're always pretending like nothing is happening. Like we. Can I see up? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we are. Okay, sorry. Call payment. That's why I thought maybe I was off. Now, apparently, we are all pretending like we are not seeing what is happening. These things are obvious. It is so obvious. When are we going to start pointing fingers and saying the truth to power and to people doing this rubbish? You removed Omoibie and you brought a what's it called? A Sharia court justice to come and run the country on duty. So this thing is pointed that is one-sided. Do you guys see that videos of soldiers shooting people in the southeast? In
Enugu, today.
In Enugu, and they are using SMGs. And I'm like, you are not using these guns on bandits and Boko Haram. You are going to people's villages and shooting. I have the video. You are shooting them point blank. These things are scary, guys. I don't understand. It's not about IPOB or Ududua Republic now. It is about us being human. Are we even human in this country? We be human beings, so. But now you have gone after a guy who, the guy that was selling rice, he was selling canteen in Gwangwalada or where in Abuja. He was selling canteen, pursued himself to the top. Now you talk about that. You won't talk about that. Now, okay, let's take it back a bit. You talk about tax. The tax that we have been paying, people like me have been paying tax from when we started working. When I don't even know anything the tax number or whatever. Some say they remove tax from my salary they pay. Which thing I don't use that tax to do? What have you guys been using the tax to do? And then somebody saying they're looking for money. Now here you won't see now for ordinary Nigerians who won't see money collect. You've been selling crude, you've been mining gold in Zamfara and in other parts of Nasarawa. So where is the money for those golds and precious stones you have been mining in Plateau and the rest of the other places? We cannot come here and be deceiving ourselves now. This is total witch hunting. They just want. I have a feeling that this guy either is supporting a particular candidate in Anambra State governorship elections. There must be somebody is supporting. There's nothing I can. There must be a political undertone. And I hope they don't overstep their bounds. Just like I was going to talk about the ODD, Justice ODD matter. They came up and said, oh, it was bad address. It was not the right address. They are actually going to number 9. They ended up seeing themselves on number 7 of the same Imo streets in Kineko. Can you imagine flimsy talk? Beg, no go rest, I beg. I yield, man, Mr. President.
Thanks for that. Sorry, Akim, I want to step out. So, thank you for keeping the room.
Okay. Okay. Good day. I think it's my turn to speak.
Yes,
right?
go ahead, Victor.
It's good to hear your voice again. Right? And I don't think we've spoken in a while after our earlier discussion. This is a very laughable matter as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to come from a funny angle. Well, next month is Christmas. And boys must what? Chop. Boys must chop. To be honest, it's someone that has not been to EFCC that will be panicking. For all that, I've been visiting EFCC over the years. You know what happens time of the year.
Customer.
So
it's a roof house for Christmas.
Tell them. They let them know.
They have to do one or two things. So, but in a serious matter, right? The way this process plays out, okay, I'm not trying to stand up for Obi Cubana, neither am I trying to stand up for EFCC. But what happens in the process is this, because I've been in this kind of process a lot of times. Your bank reports transactions over a certain amount as suspicious transactions, right? Before NFIU used to go to a particular, for those that worked in banks, there's what they call your reporting standard. You need to report these transactions on a daily basis.
It's under compliance, compliance department.
Exactly. So if you pass that threshold, your bank is mandated to report your account. So if someone runs 10, 15 accounts, and almost every weekend, all the 15 accounts pass that threshold, your bank reports it as what? Suspicious transactions. Sometimes you have account officers who will say, no, this man is doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G business or whatever. Now, this thing goes to NFIU now. Sometimes it goes to Efcc. And then it stays there for donkey years until somebody starts looking at you. Come, this person, who is he? Oh, is this the same Obi? No, is this account? Oh, dust the file. They get back to your bank and say, what? Can you give us the past 2 years statement of all these accounts? Same for FIRS, right? Now, FIRS can say, based on the inflow and outflow, not minding what was an expense or what was an income or what should be reported as expense or income. They believe that you should pay a certain amount of tax based on that particular or those particular transactions. Now you write to FIRS and say, no, this is what my tax consultant said I should pay. You have the back and forth with FIRS. Sometimes they let you go, sometimes they take it up and say, you know what, let's report to the higher authority to chase you and get our money. That might be this case, right? And that might not also be the case. If you say that Obi is supporting a candidate in Anambra State, I laugh. Because Obi's money is, as far as I'm concerned, is in flat 1. The people running for those elections, except 1 or 2, their money is at flat 8. So he can't be bankrolling them. They should actually be bankrolling him. The other part is when you talk about ethnicity. Yes, I agree with that one. Because obviously, like someone said earlier on, like Mr. President, you have these boys who are northerners that they flaunt it everywhere on social media. If you ever lived in Abuja, all the fast cars, all the Lamborghinis, all the Ferraris are driven by these boys. What do they do? No, my father works in NNPC. My father works with PPPRA back in the days. My father works with MPA. And so how can he afford such things? They don't know they should be picked up. But nothing happens to them. Remember, Malami's son has one of the biggest plazas somewhere in the north.
Thank you.
What is his son up to? I know some of the things Malami does, but this is not a place. It's a public space. I won't go into details. Okay, so but as far as I'm concerned, this is just an invitation. It's not anything. The way you can't say something is a tax fraud when I have paid some taxes and you are saying you didn't pay up to a certain amount. It's between you and I until you indict me, right? So it's more like, come, let's discuss. And in the discussion, it ends up, oh boy, your boy is new here. Do this when we go see you again. You know? So, but like I said, some of these things are media sensationalization. Of course, we have journalists who are the beat at EFCC that will report, oh, this person is here, and the ABCD will go out. I won't be surprised that one morning you will see Obi tweeting something. him in his private jet going to Lagos. Yeah. It could also be, it could also be to your advantage that after the whole investigation, it is not clear that he's very clean.
Okay, the same thing with email. Same thing happened with email.
No, of course it has to happen. You see, like I said, this is a public space. I'm not vouching for any of them. The truth is this, let's be frank. If you run a nightclub, right, there's a tendency that some money will pass through Nigeria.
Rackets will happen.
It happens everywhere in the world. Jay-Z 4040's club in New York had some issues. That's every club. See, anywhere people come to spend thousands of dollars or millions of naira in a particular night, there are tendencies that something might, pass through the water. It's not enough to you to prove that the proprietor or the sponsor or the owner of that establishment is aware of such things. And most times why you see them don't jail club owners is because you cannot prove that they are aware. They are selling drinks. If a drink in my club, like Louis the 13, they sell it close to 2.5 million, 3 million at club. Outside is less than that, way less than that. I can tell the officer I sold 15 bottles of Louis the 13, so I can have 100 and something million in my account on a particular day. It's not for you to come and decide and say, no, you did not spend, you did not sell up to this amount, you sold only 2. Yes, that's for the money. You cannot prove that, right? So, remember when it happened to, was it this guy's club in Lagos? What's the name of this guy's club?
Shalapit.
Yes. Shalapit, that guy, yes. And they still in the House of Rep. They will invite you and ask you questions. So, for those that don't know Obi, I've known Obi for a very long time. Like I can say earlier on, this guy started from the bottom. From the bottom. Right bottom. He was cooking. He was, this was not put. He was cooking. If you grew up in Abuja, you will know when the business started in area 11. If you know area 11, there's a place called it.
The first floor. Yes.
When he started even making fish, that's when he started having Cubana fish. It was Ibiza fish first. This boy,
yes.
This boy, let me give you guys this boy will, because of the Igbo traders that were looking for a place to drink palm wine, this boy will work hand in hand with AutoStar. If you know AutoStar, they run Enugu, Abuja every day. This boy will run hand in hand with AutoStar. When they get to Nsukka, they will pick about 2 to 350-liter jerrycans of palm wine and bring to Abuja. Now he sells them in these small bottles.
So Victor, take another 1 minute, huh? So
yes. So this he didn't start business today. He was doing Kobe. He didn't start this business today.
On the roadside.
So when people see him because of his mother's burial, I laugh. This was his first major thing that he did. And besides, he didn't spend more money. It was all his friends that did those things. Right? So, you guys should not be scared. Nothing happened to him. Like I said, boys must Christmas. Next week, tomorrow next, you see him flying again.
And the boys will not smile for Christmas.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so Nutella, go ahead. Nutella, mic is yours.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, dear. This is actually such an interesting topic because I've been waiting for it to happen because it was bound to happen. It was kind of obvious for me because the money he spent at his mother's burial was crazy. The cash flow, it's different if transactions are happening, you're transferring from banks, but everything was cash. There was just too much
cash, and Nigeria is actually in a cashless policy. Like, we have implemented that policy. Nobody really follows it, but I mean, it has been implemented, so it really was right for EFCC to start an investigation. I also want to say that I don't believe that it's a witch hunt, because I mean, the display of wealth is different. If you talk about Abuja boys, that, like, you know, Hausa people don't flaunt their wealth like Yoruba and Igbo people do. It's different. Yoruba people, the flaunting is different, especially with Igbo Yoruba people. But Hausa people, it's more of cars, assets, houses, lands, like buildings. Like, it's more not cash. Yoruba and Igbo people tend to deal with, like, cash flow, and that's why you see them getting probed by EFCC, because it's too much. And if I feel like we should just stick to the case of Obi Cubana, because if we start discussing the politics of EFCC, like, and how they arrest people or invite people over, we'll just sleep here, because they're actually looking for December money, but that's like a whole different case. And Obi Cubana is using that to his advantage, to me, because I feel like this could literally be a PR stunt. I mean, if he's invited to EFCC's office and he's cleared of all charges at the end, it's a good way to, like, prove to investors that, oh, hey, look, my businesses have always been clean. Also, it's good for his political career if he ever does want to go into politics, because, I mean, he can once again say he's clean. Like, I've been checked by EFCC. I've been proven that I don't evade taxes. So he has, like, this, he's once again in public view. You know, everyone is rooting for him. You know, like, the public is rooting for him. So basically, this just puts him in, like, more in people's favor for me. So I feel like this is a really good PR stunt that should have happened a long time ago. If it's not a PR stunt, I feel like at the end of the day, he's still going to leave, because it's politics. I mean, he runs nightclubs, like, was it Michael or Victor said before me, he did, like, run politics. So, like, having a night, I hope everyone can hear me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can hear you. I was even waiting for you so that I can ask you something.
Yeah, so, like, running a nightclub, the business he does, I'm sorry, you can't tell me he's not money laundering. The only difference is the people he's money laundering for, he can't ever, like, catch the rap for it, because it's, oh, if you go down, I go down thing. So I don't think he's ever going to get locked up for money laundering. It's, his sponsors are way above that. So yeah, that's just for me. I just feel like this is, like, long time coming for me. Like, that's just what I feel. This EFCC.
Are you aware that, like, I mean, after that Obas incident with the whole spraying money and everybody knowing his story as a hustler who made billions, literally, I think that at that point in time, there's no need for a PR stunt. I mean, if there was anything he wanted to achieve, I think he has more than achieved that. He's like an inspiration to many people. And being a product of that Igbo system has even made him an icon in a sense, especially in the Igbo community as a whole. So, and I don't know if you know how Nigerian government and police people work. You don't use them for PR stunt. Those people will frustrate you. They would make you cough out a huge amount of money. Like now, as they've called him in for questioning, obviously we are hoping for the best. We're hoping that it's just one of those things. But these people people are people that Nigerian government don't give a damn. They don't care about Instagram and social media and what we on here have to say. If they really want to get this guy because they're hungry for money, they will try to use everything to get him. I mean, you don't use them for PR stunt because they are there to use you for money. When they want to bill Obi now, they'll be billing him 600 M, 700, 1 point something. They won't be billing him 5 million. That's why you have to say that. Is this really a stunt? Would he want to get arrested to prove a point? And Nigeria is a country that is even better you are even arrested. That helps you with your government position. Because even if he goes there now and comes out and he's cleared, he can't come out tomorrow and say EFCC cleared me. It's a lie because there will always be an ongoing case for the EFCC to talk about. Even she not tell herself when they arrested him, they were still saying many things that is this, is that. Like that's how Nigerian politics is. In fact, if you're a criminal, you have more chances of succeeding than when you're not a criminal. What about the one we caught with his hands? Literally, I don't know. Mutala, have you heard the story of that Kano State governor? There was a whole video of him collecting bribe. An underground investigation was carried out, and he was caught in the act. And still,
Ganduje.
So I don't know. Criminals succeed in Nigeria. It's not like every other place.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm like. Just like it's funny to me that people believe that Obi Cubana is not a criminal. Like I'm sorry, but for him to get to the level he is now.
So can you repeat that comment? You said you don't believe people do not agree he is not a criminal.
Yes, I'm sorry, but you can't. Okay, there's a saying that goes, tell me how much money you have, and I'll tell you how dirty your hands are. I'm sorry. Don't
abuse people on this stage. Don't do that. Do not abuse people on this stage.
Wait, everybody wait, please.
Can you please wait?
Don't speak out of turn. Don't speak out of turn. Otherwise, we'll move to the audience. We keep it civil. I know everybody wants to chip in. She made a very controversial remark. That's why I asked her.
Abusive remark.
Yeah, and I wanted to
hold on. It's her opinion. Hold on, Nutella, hold on. It's your opinion. It's not an echo chamber, but when you do so with facts. Because then again, it will be unfair to someone you've not transacted with. You've not witnessed him commit a crime. You don't have factual evidence. There's no conviction in his name. So please, I would equally respect if it were you, I would not allow someone to just castigate you without any kind of proof or evidence. But let you wrap up.
Everyone just chill and let me finish, because I literally just said a sentence and you didn't allow me continue. Okay, so me saying that is me knowing that for you, whether it is corporate, whether you are in the corporate business, whether you have your own business, whether you are in the government, the system is corrupt all over the world. It is not just Nigeria. Whether it is Facebook, whether it is, any company, Jeff Bezos, Tesla, everybody. Okay, let's just understand how money works. If I have a lot of it, it means other people don't. That's just how it works. Obi Cubana literally has tons, you can't have that kind of money and you are associating yourself with politicians and people known in politics not to have their hands clean.
Okay, so which is fine. So hold on. So hold on. Let me ask you.
Let me go.
Hold on. And Cam, hold on. And Cam, please mute. So Nutella, do you go to church? First question. I just want to probe a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Do you go to church?
Yes,
so what
I
church
do
you go to? If you don't mind me asking.
I go to Christ Embassy.
So is your overseer, Pastor Chris Oyakhilome, a corrupt man? Yes or no?
Honestly, I would not say.
Yes is the answer.
No, hold on. No, be fair. Obi
No,
someone that
honestly,
is-
I
hold
wouldn't
on.
say because he is a man of God. He claims.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
I-
God.
And
One mic, please. One mic. Thank you.
Please. Let's enjoy this conversation. So, Michaela, the same aspersion you cast on the Obi Cubana by virtue of his wealth and association proximity to people in power, I have equally just ascribed the same to your general overseer who's wealthy, flies a private jet, lives in a high choice neighborhood.
You can't vouch for anyone.
Hold on. He has every other politician's phone number in his phone book. Probably goes to their birthday party, goes for them during elections. You've now told me that you're gonna put him in a different category because, as you said, he has a lot of money. This man of God, but now he has a lot of money.
No, the only difference.
No, hold on.
The only
Hold
difference.
on. Let me land. So what you've done is simply say, oh, because Obi Cubana is not a pastor, because I will then put two of them on the same pedestal and say, okay, yes, one is wealthy, has access, but because one is a man of God and you have bias, you would not give him the same benefit of the doubt. Is that what you're telling me?
No, what I'm telling you is I don't want to say anything about men of God simply.
All right, so let's shut it down.
because
Let's shut it down. Thank you so much, Tala. Thanks.
if
Everybody,
you're
mute your mic.
wrong,
Mute your-
it
everybody
is
mute your
not my
mic.
place to say.
Okay, thanks for your contribution. Thanks for
But
Nutella,
it is
for your
done.
contribution. All right, so let me pass the mic to Mide. Mide, go ahead. Mic is yours. Nutella, thanks. Mide, go ahead. Nutella, thanks. We've heard enough from you. Mide, go ahead. Mic is yours.
I
Thanks for being
think
patient.
I'm leaving. After the next.
Guys, one mic, please. One mic, please.
Mide, you're next. Go ahead.
It's very cool to hear a conversation like this, or to be a part of discussions like this. And to be honest with you, I would say it is a billionaire disease where you are being investigated for tax fraud. It is not a crime yet until you're proven guilty of it. And before you can be proven guilty of tax fraud, you must be sure that this person knows he's evading tax. If you are not sure, or this person likely does not know, then the person is going to go free. Obi Cubana has been invited, not, I wouldn't say arrested. He has allegations in front of him, and he's been invited for questioning. If you invite him for questioning and he can prove to you, I'll tell you, Obi Cubana does not run his tax. He probably has tax companies, auditors, and all these people going into these tax things, and they do these things for him. But if they're going to evade tax, he has to know about it. And if he knows about it and he says, let's keep it moving because we're in Nigeria, then he can answer those questions. We all know billionaires go through this. Messi, Ronaldo, it's normal. You can account for all your money if you're a billionaire, but you're not going to get charges if you're not aware of it. Is it witch hunting? I'm not going to say. If you say it's witch hunting, are you a witch? If you're not a witch, then stop thinking. If you don't have anything in your cupboard, you don't have to be scared of anything. If you have something to be scared of, if you know about it, then just let the law take its full course. EFCC they've picked up a lot of people over time. They've picked up Fani Kayode. When they picked up Fani Kayode, it wasn't ethnic issue. When they pick up other people, it's not ethnic. But when they pick up people we think we have connection with, then it becomes an ethnic issue.
Thank you very much, Mede.
I don't think it's ethnic issue. It's only a problem now because we like Obi Cubana. The fact that we like Obi Cubana does not mean Obi Cubana cannot evade tax. There are many billionaires in the United States and all over the world that evade tax. It's normal. It's nobody do you know the population of people who pay tax in Nigeria? Less than 40 million pay tax. Less than 40 million pay tax.
Do you have in Nigeria?
I'm a Nigerian. I've lived in Nigeria most of my life.
Do you pay tax before leaving?
Yes, sir.
No, guys, I think it's really wrong for people to be interjecting. It's actually quite rude and disrespectful.
I'm sorry.
Because at the end of the day, no one was doing that to you. And I think that, we should learn to have a bit of decorum.
So, let me tell you a little about myself. I know that people would not like me a lot, but the truth would always be the truth. And because I like Obi Cubana, does not mean that if Obi Cubana is evading tax, I should say it's witch hunt. If you're not a witch, you're going to go scot-free. I have no reason to be bothered. If you have